Light on set. Roll sound. Close speed. Roll camera.
Hitting. Scene 82, take 3, Mark.
Camera set. Sarah.
Action.
When I moved out to Los Angeles, I was working in mortgage. I was playing drums up and down Sunset Strip. And about the time I came out is about the time that the studios stopped going out there and seeking talent.
When I was an intern at Island Def Jam, there was a day where they let a group of people go. These were the people that they used to send out to find talent.
They stopped taking risk in finding new talent, producing new talent, recording new talent, and putting them out to the masses. Right as that was happening, home recording, Pro Tools, and everything else that has been such a great advancement in music recording, don't get me wrong. However, now that you could record your own album, now that social media existed and you could promote your own album, that soon became the expectation. So the studios were really looking for people with an established fan base, with a wrapped record ready to go. And they would throw some more money at them and help them get out there and find more audience. And again, that's great and good. But it changed things and it changed the game. And it made it so that artists now had to be very tech savvy to be able to record themselves. They had to learn a whole new trade, not to mention they had to start marketing themselves and essentially becoming entrepreneurs. And so we now see the same link in the film business. As technology has progressed, we can now shoot our own film.
Now that everybody can have a DSLR camera, they're counting on you to create the fan base. And then they will come and invest. It's a vetting process, and Hollywood is big on vetting. And so with all of this, I had to stop and think about what it was I was making. I had been doing this for a while. I started writing when my boys were born. I decided to do the traditional path, be a writer, and hopefully direct what I write.
And after seeing these stories come to life and seeing them materialize on paper, we soon started to learn the ins and outs of the film industry and how challenging it is, especially for a new filmmaker, to get that story translated onto screen.
So I thought that if what I wrote was good enough, that they would allow me to direct. Well, of course, they need some kind of assurance that you can do what you're saying you can do. And I didn't have any. The issue is that if you've never directed anything before, people aren't necessarily going to pay you to do that. Fast forward, I knew some people in the industry, tossed my scripts around. What was clear to me is that I'm bad at grammar and I needed help with that. And what was clear to me was that these films that I was writing, these films were not your average film. They weren't your average Black film. And the concept of people understanding that was a challenge. So I had done the traditional route of writing the best script that I could, of posting it on the blacklist, of entering it into Sundance, of getting it out there to producers, of talking to people about it. And every time it was, this is good, but... And it was this situation where I started to realize that some of the comments, not all, some of the comments were really good, but some of the comments didn't get the concept of what I was doing. By 2020, we had moved to be closer to my parents because we had another kid and I needed my mom. I needed my mommy. By March, everything had shut down. It was then that I decided, you know what? I'm going to look at this as an opportunity to get some equipment and let's shoot something. We have a small portion of money that we can shoot a proof of concept for 2 out of these 3 features I had written. And as we started trucking along, we bought some equipment. We planned to do this entirely ourselves. COVID got worse. Social injustice got worse. But to see people marching, to see people coming together like that, that gave me hope. It made me reinvest in who I was and what I was doing. And so, what was my strategy? What was my strategy? What was the strategy? What is the strategy? What is the strategy?
The general pocket response is, well, shoot a film and submit it to film festivals. Film festivals are great places to showcase work. They are responsible for helping a lot of new filmmakers off the ground. We also started to learn through our research that a lot of submissions to film festivals are pretty big budget films. And even those people who win awards, it's not necessarily your foot in the door.
We decided to make the short films because we thought that that was something that we can do. But what was the next step in that? How were we going to move forward after these short films had happened? I realized we were making the short films to bring the cavalry to us in the hopes and the prayers that the cavalry will just come on in and see it for what we believe it is and go, this is amazing. Here's all the money in the world. I didn't want to make something for them and send my hopes and prayers in that they will cultivate some kind of love for what I'm doing. One of the other aspects to building your audience and not waiting on the cavalry was Issa Rae. You know, Issa Rae went out there and did the thing. She was like, I'm awkward, I'm Black. Nobody is saying that that's a thing. We're either these archetypes of the sexy vixen, the, mad Black woman, the mammy, whatever the case is. There are people that you want to model yourself after. Would I have loved to model my career after Steven Spielberg? Yes, but no one's going to come and hand me the reins to the kingdom after seeing the short film. I couldn't bank on what white men had done. I couldn't bank on that. And Issa Rae was it. She was the person who was doing the thing. She went out there, she got a camera, she wrote some scripts, she knew what she wanted to see, and she nailed it. Part of her nailing it was other awkward Black girls who had never been represented before. She found her audience, an audience that had she taken that around town, they would have told her didn't exist. She showed me that finding your people is not as hard as it might sound. Issa Rae busting onto the scene showed us that that's exactly what these are built for. Find your tribe. I wanted to find you, the audience. I wanted to find other blurs like me. Black girls looking for fantasy, wanting to find themselves in these books. And so I thought about it and I realized that if the cavalry isn't coming, if the window for festivals and the window for people understanding what I wanted to do was so small, I didn't need to go after that. I needed to come find my people. And if you're watching Issa Rae, thank you. Because you showed me how to find my tribe. And that's what placed us here.